So in this video, I will show you how can you create a Django models with best practices followed. So here is a Django's official documentation where you guys can follow a lot of detail. They explained how we are implementing models and why we are implementing models and what is the mechanism behind that. They have clearly written that. For example, they have given the example they are creating a person model with this attribute and what it will do in the database. So now in this video I will show you to create a books model. So let us create a book models with these following attributes. So let us dive into it. So to implement the models, we need to implement the models file. So here is the import code for that. Yes, this is generally importing the models file from the Django packages. So now let us create a class of book which is inheriting the model class from the models package. So now here we will create an attribute name. We all know that the name of the book represents a character type field. So to implement the character type field, that is varchar in the database, we will use models.char field. What it will do, it will indicate Django that we need to use a character type value for this attribute. And to define this, we need to define another value, that is the max length up to which this attribute supports. So let us give the max length 100. That means up to 100 characters the name will support. Now let us create the created date. To store all the date related things, we will either use the date time field or date field. Here we need to use the time field also, means where when this object has been created. So for this we are using the created date. There is one case that we need to assign an exact date time when this object is created, and for us it might get difficult to give the exact date time, so we will use Django's capability to do that. So for this we need write auto now add equal to true. What it will do, it will indicate Django that while creating this object, Django will automatically assign the current date time. And now we will assign the published date. Here also we will use the date time field, but we will not use auto now add equal to true because it's on our hand when we want this book to get published. It might be after the 10 days of creating the object or might 1 year after creating the object. That why we will create null equal to true and blank equal to true. That means we will indicate Django that while creating the object, it is not mandatory to give the publish date, because we can publish the book after 10 days also or 10 months also. If we don't give null equal to true blank equal to true, what it will do, it will indicate Django that it is a mandatory field and which we don't want. Now we need to link the user table to the our model, means user table with author. We know that every book has an author and every author has a book. To implement this, means this thing, we need to import the Django's user model into our model using a relationship. You guys can read the Django's official documentation, means what type of relationship are there, how many relationships are there. Here we will use foreign key relationship, means suppose I am a user, I can have many books, means we have to link the user table with the book, means a user can have many books. You guys can get a detailed explanation in this article. I will also give the link in the description. So for that, let us import the user model. So here is the command to implement the use contrib.auth.models import user. If we go to this user file, you guys can see that there is already a user table, user model is created, and it is inheriting the abstract user. Here is the details that has been already created by the Django developers. So we will now link it with the name author. Here is the command. Here we are indicating that this is a relationship to the user table. And now there is one more important thing. There is no sense of storing the book's data if the author is deleted. Means if XYZ author is deleted, then his books might have to be deleted from the database. In this case we will use the on delete command, means on delete attribute. It will indicate, it will tell Django that if the related data is deleted, that we should delete its book as well. Means if the user is already also deleted, it will delete all the data where user is linked. So for that we will use models.cascade. It will, the Django will do automatically for us. And here we will not give a null equal to true, blank equal to false, because we want that data mandatory. While creating book we must assign an author to it. So here our model has been created. So now let us dive into the Django admin panel. First of all, let us start the server. Here the server is started and we can see that it's running on the localhost. We will indicate Django to create the tables in the database. And for that we have the command python manage.py make migrations. Migrations. Here the migration is already created. For that, this will generally uh, push all the tables in the database. So let us run the migrate command, which actually creates or actually runs the SQL command to create the tables. Here we can see that many of the tables gets created. It's not only our project tab table, there are many other tables that Django is creating. So now let us run the server. Service, we have already run the server at the localhost 8000. And for running the server, the command is python manage.py runserver. So now let us go to the admin panel. So let us go to the URL, and here we can see the Django is running. To access our data, we need to go to the admin panel. Our admin panel. But now we need to have the credential to access it. For that also we have one command to create the super user for that. So here is the command super user. So let us keep admin email. So we have created successfully the admin super user. So now let us put the password here, and here we can see there is already one app register user. We have created the user and we can see that a user is created with this data. We can also edit it, like let us create one name Shagnik, and if we give it save, then it will save the data for us. But we have also created the books model, but we don't have it registered here. So for that we need to go to the our admin.py file and register the books model. For that, first of all we need to import it from the project app.models book. Here we have imported it. Now we will register it. Here is the command for registration of the application model. So using this command we have already registered it. So let us refresh the page. Here we can see there is book. So let us create it. Suppose book 1 with an author admin. Here we can see an object has been created of object book object 1, and here we will again create another book. Yes, two object has been created. We can also link the user also, but here this is not looking good, right? Book object 1 object 2, if we create thousands of data, that it will show book object 1000, books object 1001, which is not readable. So for that we will use the str function. So here is the code for that, and we need to return like that self.name. What it will do, it will return the name for the object. That is, if the name of the book is xyz, it will return it xyz. So let us refresh it. Here you can see name is book 2. It is returning book 2 as the name of the object here, I mean the str name of the object. So many of you guys does the same mistake. To make it more easy to read, you guys write like that. That is, I'm giving one example here. You are calling the related model from here, that is self.author.first name. It will show the name of the author as well here, but this is not one of the best practices, because To get the first name of the user, means the author, what Django will do, it will query from the database, means it will fetch the user that is linked with here, and then it will give us the first name. What it will do for 1 2 records, it is good that it will query 2 times, but for more than 1000 records, it will do 1000 queries to get the name of the author for 1000 object, which does that, which generally slows down our system. This is why we do not write the str like that. We always write the str like that to keep the database query low. Means we need to follow this approach to reduce the query from the database. This is why we also always use the table attributes for customizing the str, means to customizing the object name. You guys can always visit the official documentation where you guys can get more detail about it. Thanks.